Knights of the Old Republic is one of my favorite games of all time, and it holds a spot in my heart that even a remake couldn't replace, but I still wanted a remake of such a legendary game with new graphics, maybe even more content, and an overall enhanced experience, but it seems like the KotOR remake announced back in 2021 may be cancelled. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting the channel through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. So I wanted to start off with this Tech Raptor article. It says Knights of the Old Republic remake trailers removed as fans fear possible cancellation. Now we have heard a lot of unfortunate news surrounding this title with writers they've chosen and then those writers like Sam Maggs leaving. We've heard that it might be in a bit of development hell, and now it seems like that could most certainly be the case. It says it appears that Embracer and Sony Interactive Entertainment are scrubbing the internet clean of all traces of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic that they can. As noticed by Twitter users, the announcement trailer had been made private, while tweets advertising it have also been removed. Below you can see the original tweet on the PlayStation account made when the remake was announced. It's now gone and can only be found via a cached version. This is an unfortunate situation, right? Because we have not gotten any confirmation, and that is what is kind of the worst part of this situation is we don't really know, but it is very suspicious and very odd that they did remove the trailers, because you would think that this is a trailer that they want people to see to keep getting hyped for it. There's people sharing it, and then you can go, okay, wow, we're really excited, and then of course when we get closer to release they share a new trailer, but this is just kind of the placeholder one. They want as many people as possible talking about a game that is going to release in the future, because of course they want people to get so excited that they're ready to swipe their credit card when pre-orders go up. It says if you're unfamiliar with the Star Wars KotOR remake, it was announced back in September 2021 during a PlayStation showcase. I did live stream this event. You can go to the channel and you can see it. The KotOR trailer was the very last trailer, so it's very close to the end of that live stream. But yeah, I mean, this was such a hyped announcement. People were so excited for it. I know I was so excited for it. I mean, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I would love for a good, faithful remake of this title, but of course we all had our worries, and one of the most worrying things was hearing who they actually had working on this project. Complete social justice activist Sam Maggs actually was working on this title, and then she up and announced that she quit the remake, which was of course kind of positive news, because who wants social justice warriors working on our games, because we don't want them to ruin our content. But now there's even more layers to this, because then after all of this happened and we heard that she had been working on it and then ultimately quit the KotOR remake, we actually heard that it had a new developer. We heard Embracer Group is moving development on the upcoming KotOR remake for PlayStation 5 and PC from Aspire Media to a Saber Interactive studio in Eastern Europe. Now, the reason why this is not so worrying was because they didn't have to go back to square one. We heard that it was shifting from Aspire to Saber, but they were assisting in the remake anyway, so they were already familiar with the project and the work that was done, and it should have been a seamless transition. And this was in August 2022, so this was just about a year ago, a little bit longer than just a year ago. So there has been a lot surrounding this, but then everything went silent. I mean, it has been a year since we've really heard any information about this remake. They went silent. We all figured that they were hard at work, really trying to make this a good game. But, yeah, now over the past few weeks, there's been a lot of drama, because we actually heard recently, just yesterday, yesterday this article went up, but the past like 3 or so days, there have been articles going up on a lawsuit. Canceled Star Wars KotOR 2 DLC for Switch has spawned a class action lawsuit. A class action lawsuit related to KotOR 2 on Nintendo Switch has surfaced, with plaintiffs seeking restitution and damages for what the lawsuit claims were illegal marketing and advertisements used by developer Aspyr Media, its parent company, Saber Interactive. So this isn't specifically about the remake, but it has Aspyr Media, it has Saber Interactive, all together, all part of this lawsuit, so it's still the developers who are working on the title. It says, as spotted by The Gamer, the lawsuit was originally filed all the way back on July 8th in the state of California on behalf of the plaintiff and other customers in the state who they felt had been deceived by Aspyr following their purchase of KotOR 2 on the Switch. Now, a problem with this DLC and why people believed it would be releasing is because most of the missing content does exist as mods in various different states that you can find on the internet for the PC version. The Sith Lord's restored content modification was a fan volunteer effort to reinstate or recreate unused content. It was, previously unreleased content that modders got their hands on because it did exist in the game file. So when people heard they were creating this Switch version and bundling in this extra content, it was exciting. But again, people believed it because there is, some of it that you can find online. And then, of course, they decided to cancel the unreleased DLC edition with the Switch release, but still release the Switch release. So it did spawn a class action lawsuit. Now, I think they did push the DLC to sell the Switch port because, let's be honest, it's been on GOG and Steam forever, and it's not expensive. They were trying to sell this version to people who most likely already had it, so they were pushing the selling point of the DLC, yet now have gotten called out, and, people are furious with them. But is it really a coincidence? The KotOR 2 DLC lawsuit was covered only a few days ago, and this week all of the trailers and posts are taken down about the remake. I think a few days ago the trailers were taken down, or journalists caught when the game is likely canceled, and they were digging, around the internet for Knights of the Old Republic information, and they caught this lawsuit because, again, it was filed all the way back on July 8th, yet they're only now covering it, and they decided to not only cover that, but now they're also covering the fact that all of these trailers and all of the information we got about the remake has been completely taken down. I mean, I personally don't know how far, the lawsuit would have gotten, because companies promise things in games all of the time. Then that content isn't there and they don't get sued over every specific instance. So I can't speak to the merit of the lawsuit, only that it was filed. And of course, people are upset, but I do think that it has something to do with this KotOR remake. I mean, the developers are under heat right now. They've got this lawsuit going on. People are upset that this title may possibly be canceled. But there are clearly just a lot of problems going on behind the scenes with, both of these titles. But when it comes to the Knights of the Old Republic remake, what we don't know is it Disney? Is it EA? Is it Aspyr and Saber? It could also be Wizards of the Coast, since KotOR was based on their D20 system, which was also used for Dungeons and Dragons. Like, we do not know where the holdup is, where the issues are coming from. We've seen developers come, we've seen developers go, we've seen this initial teaser announcement, and they do have notable voice actors and actresses on this project. I mean, Jennifer Hale is reprising her role as Bastila Shan, and we heard that in the trailer. So they've clearly got a star-studded cast. Like, they clearly have put a lot of effort into this, and I really can't see them just throwing it all away for a full cancellation. Maybe it's just in development hell and it's been indefinitely delayed internally, or I mean, it could also be straight up canceled. That to me would be a very sad situation, because I want them to come out with this and I want it to be really good. But at the same time, while it would make me sad that we aren't getting this remake, I could live with it, because I don't want them to remake this title, this legendary game, and have it be a dumpster fire, and have it be modernized, and have it have different dialogue, and, things be toned down. Like, I don't want that. So while I'm sad, I also can accept if it's canceled. But yeah, there's just not a lot of more information we have. It's not officially canceled, but it does seem that it could possibly be canceled. Only time will tell. I will definitely be covering this when we actually have any more information on it. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.